Hey guys, it's me. All right, so we're gonna keep playing. We're gonna continue our playthrough of Pokemon Green, the Japanese version. So as before, I still don't speak Japanese. We'll see how that goes. We're still at 0 gym badges and 1 Pokemon caught. 27 minutes in. Like I mentioned during the video, the goal here for me really isn't to. The goal here for me isn't to do like any specific challenge. Instead, it's more about just trying to get just to kind of play through the game. I haven't played this in over 10 years pretty much, the Gen 1 games, even though they were my favorite as a kid. So it's kind of interesting because I'm having to basically play this from memory since I don't speak Japanese and it's been so long since I played them. All right. So where we last left off, in case you didn't watch the last video, we got to we basically got to Viridian City and we got the Oaks parcel, and then uh, we got our Pokedex. That's pretty much where we left off. I need to switch the options here because right now the text is going way too slow considering I can't even read it. Here, let's see here. I don't know. I thought that was fast. Is that not fast? Is that fast? Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so let's see if that got the text box moving a little bit faster because, I mean, especially since we can't read. Doesn't really matter. Oh, nope, it's still slow. Okay. Alright, first we'll kill this Rattata. I've learned that one is Ember. It looks like the first letter is a U. It looks like a U in the English alphabet, so that's how somehow I associate the letter U with the move Ember. Here we go. Alright, let's see if that speeds up the text. Alright, here we go. We're back with Charmander against the Rattata. Okay, text seems to be going a lot faster. That's kind of weird. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check like an old version, my old blue version or something, and see. But it feels like this is kind of backwards. I would have thought that the top box is text speed, but for some reason the fastest level is on the left. I could have swore it was on the right, but that could refer to. I mean, that could be like a cultural thing too, right? A language thing where. Japanese is traditionally read from right to left, not left to right. So they may go slow, medium, fast in the reverse order. Or that just could be me misremembering. I don't know. But I could have sworn it went slow, medium, fast from left to right. Another Rattata. You'll notice I'm actually battling all these guys, but that's because, like I said, this isn't a challenge. Like, I'm not doing like, beat the game with only this Pokemon or, only, level caps or Nuzlocke or anything like that. In reality, I'm just trying to beat the game based off of memory. I mentioned in the last video, the only thing I will use the internet for to refresh my memory on is moves, because I don't want to, like, especially as my Pokemon progress through this game, I don't want to like make them forget an important move for a crappy move just because I don't know what that crappy move is. So I'll check and see, like, okay, wait, he just leveled up to level 12. What does he learn at level 12? Once our Pokemon have enough moves that we have to decide between a couple. But right now, that's not really an issue. You may also notice if you watch the previous video, I'm actually starting a little further behind than I was before, because last time I got the Pokedexes and I went and beat Gary, or Corey as we're calling him in this run through. But I haven't done that yet here. The reason for that is because I accidentally forgot to save before I clicked out of my game last time. so that was my bad. Let's see here. Okay, well, before I do anything else, I'm going to go back to the Poke Shop, which I still think is interesting. That's not Poke Mart, it's Poke Shop here. The reason I think it's interesting is because they're both English words. First of all, I would have thought the signs would have had Japanese writing on them, like kanji or hiragana. But that's fine that they don't. But it's just weird that they change it from shop to mart for the U.S. version. Because honestly, I kind of feel like, I don't think... Is that a Pokeball? I don't know. Let's try. Yeah. I'll buy one. Let's test it out. But, yeah, it's just weird because, I mean, they're both English words. So why did they switch it from shop to mart in the English edition? I honestly feel like shop is a more common English word to hear, at least in the U.S., than mart. but maybe they were trying to like associate with like Walmart, Kmart, which were both big in the '90s. And Walmart still is, but maybe it was like a cultural thing. They thought, oh, kids will associate this store with like Walmart or Kmart. All right, we got a very ugly looking Spearow. Let's see if we can catch it. I'm just really curious to see if what we just bought was a Pokeball or not. And like I said, I'm trying not to use the internet, so let's. Okay, that is a Pokeball. I don't know why, but for some reason that symbol, like the symbology, looked weird on it. There you go. We got ourselves a Spearow. I suppose I'll try to catch as many Pokemon as I can. I really can't trade with anybody right now because I don't have a... Actually, I guess I could, in reality. So, this, like I said, this really isn't a challenge. I'm not trying to complete the Pokedex right now or anything crazy like that. But, in theory, I actually could do that because when I was in Japan a few years ago, I bought this Pokemon Green version, which is pretty awesome. But I also bought myself a Pokemon Red, an original Pokemon Red version, also in Japanese. And so that's cool. So I have two games, and technically I could trade between those, right? Except for the fact that I do not have a stupid linking cable, or Game Boys. I have a Game Boy Advance SP, but I don't have an original Game Boy. So so I have no way to connect those two games. Except for the fact that while I was in Japan, I also bought an original Pokemon Stadium in Japanese. So get this, you can't play Pokemon Green and Pokemon Red, the original Japanese versions, I've been told, on an American Pokemon Stadium game. Apparently the data corrupts or the file can't be read. Now, I'm not positive about that. Maybe we'll do ourselves a video about that at some point in the future where I'll try to play Pokemon Green on my American Pokemon Stadium game and see if it can read the data or not. But I've been told that it won't be able to because of the symbology. It's really just a language issue. The games are pretty similar, as you can tell, but the American games weren't coded. The English version of the games wasn't coded to handle Japanese symbology, and so it just goes wonky whenever you try to play that. But that's still not a problem because when I was in Japan, I also bought a Japanese version of Pokemon Stadium, and now there's one last problem. You normally can't play Nintendo 64 cartridges on American Nintendo 64s. Because the Japanese cartridges had a different backing than the American ones. However, there's one more exception here. The only difference between the two is the backing of the cartridge. So what you can do is if you have the right screwdriver, which I do have, you can unscrew the backing on a Japanese cartridge and replace it with the backing of an American cartridge, and it slides right into the American Nintendo 64 and can be played on the American Nintendo 64. So it would require a lot of steps, but in reality, I could actually complete the Pokédex because I have red and green. I think that's enough to complete the entire thing. I'd have to use the Mew glitch to access a Mew. But I don't think that's cheating because obviously there's no other way to get a Mew in this game. Alright, so I'm going to go buy like 10 more Pokeballs, and then I'm going to go face Corey for the second time. Those of you who watched my first video will remember the enthralling battle, our enthralling first battle with Corey where I was left with 1 HP, and the idiot, he had me on the ropes, but he couldn't pull the trigger on the finishing move. Alright, so we got 10 Pokeballs. We're going to go battle him a second time. I beat him last time during our second battle, but it was close. Because obviously I'm just kind of training with Charmander right now. I haven't really figured out what my team's going to be just yet, but we'll see. I don't think Spearow has a very bright future, just as a heads up. I feel like he's kind of doomed to spend eternity in the little box system once I catch some better Pokemon. Alright, but I will catch this Nidoran. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll try to complete the Pokedex. Not before the Elite Four, but afterwards. Oh shoot, that didn't kill it. Let's try here. Scratch him. If that doesn't kill him, okay. I don't know what he just did there. Looks like he did Tail Whip or something. There. There we go, we got him. I don't know, we're actually going into this battle against Corey the second time in a much better position than we did the first time because last time we only had Charmander. And now I have Charmander, as well as Spearow and Nidoran, both at level 3. They're not going to be a huge help, but sometimes it helps to just have some backup. Here he is. I'm going to try putting the volume up a little bit. I mentioned that I was worried about getting copyright struck last time, but I believe as long as I'm talking over it and I'm not just playing the audio for the sake of you listening to it and not adding anything to it, I'm actually in the clear legally. So, I mean, I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm sure a team of Nintendo lawyers will swoop down upon me in short order, so we're all good. Alright, let's see what happens. There you go. Took out the Pidgey. No damage. But I don't know if he used Sand Attack. I wasn't really paying attention. Let's see here. Because he was using Sand Attack, that could be a problem. I think Ember's going to do a better job. Dang, he's doing damage for that. Because there's always a chance of a burn with Ember. Okay, now it was a Tail Whip. There he... Wait, no, I thought I burned him. Come on. Come on. Oof. Okay, we did pretty good though. 14 HP left. I think that's better than we did last time. And now we're at level 12. Perfect. So obviously, like I mentioned last time, starting with Charmander is obviously the hardest option, but it does come with its own set of, along with the challenges comes, you know, a flying dragon. So I think you have to take the good with the bad. All right, here you go. All right, so we'll heal at the Pokemon at the center before we go any further. Ah, the freaking Ledge of Death. Just push A as quickly as you can. Actually, I push B as quickly as I can after I push A, so I don't accidentally talk to them again. There you go. Oh, so we're doing pretty good. Pretty happy with all this. Let's see how we do in Viridian Forest. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save right now so I don't forget to save again. As you can see, I'm not going to turn away many challenges because I'm going to try to get Charmander up as high as I can. I know a lot of people try to catch Butterfree or catch Caterpie before facing Brock and, you know, teach Butterfree confusion. But if I can avoid that, I would like to, because that just seems unnecessary given that I have no intention of raising a Butterfree through the rest of the game. And as some of you may know, Ember, which is Charmander's only Fire-type move right now, is a special move. So, in the special stat of Brock's Pokemon, Geodude and Onix is pretty low. So, if I get Charmander high enough, even though at a high enough level, even though he's, you know, fire is technically resisted by rock types, their special so low, I should be able to just burn them to death. There you go. That was a Caterpie. I should probably try to catch some of these. This is actually a really good training ground, though, for Charmander. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, because, I mean, they knew that... Oh, there you go. Metapod. They obviously knew that Squirtle and Bulbasaur would be the easier choices for the beginning of the game. I feel like they put Viridian Forest here with all these bug types to help people, to help Charmander trainers have something, you know? Just throw them some kind of bone so it's not so difficult. There you go. Got a Metapod. Not bad. Like I said, no real... I'm not doing like a complete the Pokédex challenge yet, but if I do decide to do one with this cartridge after I beat the Pokemon League, then I want to give myself as much of a leg up as I possibly can. Ooh, Pikachu. Okay, now I will actually train this. Yeah, just go ahead and catch it. I don't think it should be that hard. Nope, no, I was wrong. Okay. Do I dare risk scratching it? Now, you know what? I have like 2 others, so let's just... Of course, Pikachu's also not going to be useful for me in this battle against Brock, but, you know. Here. I don't know. Did I just use, like, Tail Whip or something? See? This is why you need to... Look at the moves. There you go. Oh, shoot. I thought that was me. There you go. I think I scratched him. Shoot, I missed. Oh, shoot, and I'm dead. Okay, that's fine. It's all good. Metapod won't be able to do jack, so let's try... Spearow, go. There you go. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I'm guessing that's sand attack. I think if they have 40 PP, they're basically like stat lowering moves 99% of the time. So let's try this. I don't know what he knows. Is it like tackle? It gave me a message afterwards, so I'm guessing it was saying it's not very effective. Shoot. There you go. Okay. Well, I think we got him weak enough. There you go. Got him. What's kind of crazy to think about is like, okay, yeah, we caught a Pikachu, which is, you know, the iconic character of the entire Pokemon franchise, the most iconic character of the Pokemon franchise. But at this point, remember, like we talked about in the first game, in the first video, I mean, the patent was still pending for Pokemon at this point. They had no idea who the mascot of the series of the franchise was going to be this early on. This was back in 1995 when this game was released. And so actually it was initially intended, I believe, for Clefairy to be the mascot of the Pokemon franchise. So it's kind of funny that we caught Pikachu, but you hear it just has like a very generic sounding cry. But now if you see Pikachu in modern games, it always has its, you know, the cry it has from the anime. And that's because like they just, back then they just were like, oh yeah, it's just an electric rat, you know, it's just one of 150 Pokemon that we've made for this game. So not a big deal. But now of course it's like this huge deal. It's kind of funny. Alright, here we go. Let's heal up. Yeah, I will train up Pikachu because Raichu is actually one of my favorite Pokemon. So I don't know if I'll hang on to Raichu once I get the Eevee because I feel like, oh shoot, I screwed up. I pushed A. Because I mean, like, I don't know. I like Raichu a lot, but Jolteon's pretty awesome, especially in this game and the earlier games. So we'll see. But at the very least, let's try to get some, you know what, let's try to do a little bit of training with our Pikachu. I think one of the giveaways that Pikachu is not the main character of the Pokemon franchise at the beginning is, look at his sprite. It looks like a Clefairy. And like I said, you know, this is off memory, but I'm pretty positive I remember reading that Clefairy was intended to be the original mascot of the Pokemon franchise. Like, that was going to be Ash's Pokemon. And so it's kind of verified here, because look at it. Because in later games, of course, Pikachu would be the, you know, would have its own sprite. Alright, level 4 Rattata. Let's see what you got, Pikachu. Alright, so he's lowering our defense, I'm assuming. There you go. Alright, so we take out him. Not bad. But yeah, he's going to be no use. Like, you know, earlier I was saying that Charmander with enough work will be able to take on Geodude and Onix, but Pikachu's Thundershock obviously isn't going to do anything against ground type, so we're kind of stuck with Charmander. But I do want to train him up. Because, on top of Raichu being one of my favorite Pokemon, we also have the fact that we have Misty coming up after this. That we have to prepare for. But yeah, even though I don't plan on training many of these Pokemon that I've caught, I don't see any harm in keeping them in my party because sometimes, you know, if you're down to just like a few HP left on like a gym leader, then having a few spares in your party might be just enough, you know, to make the difference. Here we go. There you go. Killed him. And we're level 4 now. Nice. I'll hold out, and we'll switch back to Charmander for now. Get some more experience on him. Alright, well, there's a Caterpie. Haven't caught one of those yet. There you go. Caught a Caterpie. Not bad. Add that data to the Pokédex that we'll never be able to read. Not totally. I've been working on Japanese on Duolingo for like 5 years. So, you know, I know how to pronounce most of the hiragana. Not to brag, but I still have no idea like what any words are. So it's difficult because you start off with a whole other alphabet. So you're kind of starting at square one. Alright, we'll do one trainer battle, and then we'll call it a night here, because it's getting a little bit late. I'm just happy to see that I can actually live stream. This is pretty exciting. Alright, here we go. Bug catcher. Let's see how I do against him. Gotta say, I'm feeling pretty confident that my fire type that's twice his level can handle anything he throws at us. We'll see. Well, number 1 was pretty easy. Let's see what number 2's got to say. Oh, it's a Caterpie. Who would have guessed? There you go. We're at level 13. I think I'm going to try and get to level 16 and evolve Charmander to Charmeleon before we go on to Brock. And I actually don't think it will be that hard to do that. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see here. Alright, one more. Let's battle this guy, see what this idiot has. Alright, bug catcher. I was always curious why the bug catchers had nets. Obviously, I understand, you know, we're talking about like, oh, they're bug catchers, haha. You know, so they catch bugs in nets. But like in the Pokemon world, they're obviously using Pokeballs, so what's the point of the net? These are the kind of profound ramblings you get when you watch me. There you go. Oh, Kakuna. I'm sure that will withstand the heat of 1,000 suns. Oh, it didn't? Who would have guessed? Boom. There you go. All right, I think we're gonna call it there for the night. Let's make sure to save first. All right, guys, that's the end of tonight's stream. Normally, I'm gonna try to stream a little bit earlier in the evening, probably around like 7 p.m. Eastern time. So be on the lookout for that, but I may go a little bit later. We'll see as this progresses, because like I mentioned in my first video, I'm really playing this game for fun. This was a childhood love of mine, and it's great to be able to revisit it for the first time in Japanese. So I'm just kind of doing it during my free time, but generally my free time is somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for my stream around 7 o'clock, but as we go forward with this, I'll be sure to standardize things a little bit more and see what works for